Well, good morning, my Teacher King family. How is everybody today? I am doing well. We'll talk baseball today. We'll talk college football, week 1 and 1A. I will do week 1A and 1B for $50 instead of 75. Basically, it's 75 a week. I'm doing a 2-week special anyway. So you get, if you buy 1A, if you buy for this Saturday, not only you get the lock, and you might get locks for 1B, you get the both weeks plays, and so it's $75, but I'll go 50. I want you guys to buy more gold and silver, so we can do $50 for this. You'll get this week and next week, then back to 100 if you want the college and the pros. All right. So just, you can pay me Venmo, or you can just PayPal me. If you go on the site, there's no $50. There might be a $50 thing. Anyway, just go into PayPal or Venmo and just send me 50 and just say it's for this. Well, I'll know it's for this week. So happy. What is today? Wednesday? I'll tell you how tough it is when you're retired. I thought yesterday was Friday. So I'm looking at the gold market at dinner. And I'm going, oh, the market will be closed. It's 5:45. It's Friday. And it keeps going. And then I realized it was Tuesday yesterday. So anyway, you never know. I keep getting calls from banks who want to loan me money. All right. I did take my first shower here, and before I alarm you, I shower every day at the gym. But since the gym shut down for the week, it'll open Saturday. I'm not showering, so I did my first shower this morning. It was interesting. I survived it. Uh, so that was different. I still prefer the pool because I swim, and then I want to get all the chlorine off, and I shampoo my head and everything. Uh, anyway, so let's look at first. We're going to look at gold and silver and see what the hell is happening with there. I see one free pick in baseball right away, which is always good to see. Let's see, gold and silver. So these banks keep calling me, "Oh, you have a $50,000 loan. You want us to do it?" And I don't want to borrow a penny. I have gold and silver. as I explained to Real D, that's my process for, instead of life insurance and funeral expense, you have gold and silver because the life insurance isn't going to pay you because they're going to go broke because it's in dollars. And so you're going to go, hey, where's my life insurance? I got $1 million policy. No, you don't. You won't get a penny because the dollar is worthless. Uh, and that's the key. In gold, you'll take out gold and you'll pay for the funeral or whatever life insurance. I mean, what is life insurance? When you die, you give some family and friends money. Well, here's gold. Here's an ounce of gold. Go ahead. Go get your own jobs. All right. Let's get where I had to move my gold tab. I hate when the phone calls and it screws up your phone, right? All right. So 46.18 got down to 46.05, but notice it hasn't gotten below 46. It looks like we got to 46.32, then the 10 o'clock drop, but now we're coming off of it. So we'll probably get back to the 46.30 or 40. The longer we stay at 46, we should be at 5,000 by now. But since we're in a nice run up, I still think we'll see hopefully 47 by the end of the week. But we've got that month end bullshit by JP Morgan and the banks where they set their financials to the gold price, to the fake gold price. Anybody that thinks this is a real gold or silver price, 68.10 or 46.21 is out of their minds. There's no way this is the real price. This is a manipulated option price. How is this so hard to understand that it's not a real price? Because you're fucking with supply. 200,000 tons of gold turns into 4.3 million tons of gold. How can that happen? How can you say this is the real price when there's no way it's the real price? So to even suggest that it could be manipulated shows how stupid the person saying it is. It's 100% manipulated, absolutely manipulated, and it's so they can do options and they can do it just like ETFs. Rick Rude's a joke. Guy's a loser. I wouldn't listen to him. He sits there, well, I'll have gold in my ETF. No, you won't. There's 1 ounce of gold and there's a 10,000 people wanting the 1 ounce. You're not getting anything. And then he says he wrote it, which makes him the biggest scammer in the world. He's a Madoff because ETFs, they sell them as if there's physical gold. And you'll buy physical gold. You won't. You will not get physical gold out of your ETF. It's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. You're buying. There's 10,000 ounces, and there's 1 ounce. So you're never going to get physical. You want physical? You buy physical. It's very simple. Go buy the physical. And it's just the scam of getting you to buy an ETF, thinking you have physical gold. Because some people are smart and they want physical, but then they don't have to pay. You think, well, I don't have to pay $46.13 for physical gold. I can get it for $300. Does that make any sense? You're getting a physical ounce for $300. Yeah. Well, it's an ETF. Yeah. They're the biggest scammers. I played an ETF once in oil and gold, and the gold price shot up and I made like $50. And I said, okay, fuck off. And that was a big mistake. And that should have been physical gold at the time because it wasn't that expensive. So anyway, just buy physical and go. All right, 46.13, 68.14. Again, we will see downward pressure because of the month end. And that's Friday. So we know what's today is Wednesday. So tomorrow could be a lower day, and then I'm not sure how it works if it gets cut off or Friday. But next week we should be fine. We do have Labor Day coming. When is Labor Day? Let's see. Labor Day is Monday, September 7th. So that is that's not this Monday is the 30th, I guess. Yeah, 28th, 29th, 30th is Sunday. I got to see a calendar. It doesn't make sense. How can it be the 7th? Or are there 31 days in August? Ah, yes, August 31st is Monday. Okay, so yeah, the 7th is Labor Day. All right. So I should go up north right after that. Okay. So we're getting into Labor Day and we will see. So anyway, I wonder if I'll get my Social Security on Monday. Normally it's an automatic thing, so I think I'll get it. But the banks aren't open, so I might get it on Tuesday. So let me ask that. No, you will not receive a standard regular Social Security deposit on Monday because it's Labor Day, federal holiday, and standard benefit payments are not distributed on Mondays or holidays. Well, that's not true. I get it every Monday. See here, they're saying the standard payment paid on the second Wednesday of the month, the 9th, but I get mine on, I always see, but I always get it paid on Monday. So AI's fucked up. Early bank, some online banks or credit unions release direct deposits a day or two early. The Social Security Administration official payment release does not land on September 7th. You can check your personalized schedule or vast past upcoming deposits by logging in. Yeah. So I assume if I don't get it Monday, I'll get it Tuesday. So I won't worry too much. Let's see. Hey, Mr. D, how are you today? So I don't got so theoretically, well, this is 2025. I don't remember what we did last. So I get it on the Wednesday, but I get early pay on the Monday. So will I get early pay on Labor Day? Good question. Really doesn't have a bearing because this is for the next rent, right? I already got August is Social Security will pay September 1st rent. So it's not an issue. So at worst case, it'll come on the Tuesday. All right. So we looked at gold. We'll look at some poker hands later. Let's look at baseball. Bad day in baseball. It was just not a very good matchup day. I didn't really like it, as I said. I ended up going 3-5. Let's take a look. So we start off with Boston. They win 7-3 over Miami. Detroit wins 4-1. We don't play it. We didn't even know who the pitcher was. Colorado beats Washington 3-1. I played Washington and I looked at the lineup. They didn't have anybody hitting 220, Washington. So if they're going to fucking monkey around, this is why I don't like playing Washington. I more or less played against Colorado, one of their 7.0 pitchers, but that's a loser. Houston beats the Yankees 9-7. I don't play that. I don't trust. There's probably an overplay, but I don't trust the Yankees can score. KC 5, Toronto 3. I don't play that game. KC's starting to play well. The Mets 3, the Milwaukee 2 in 10 innings. Harrison going. We do play Milwaukee. That was your free play. And it loses 3. They did not hit. The Mets pitcher wasn't all that and went 10 innings. Atlanta beats the Dodgers 4-3. I don't touch that game. Again, it was a very bad schedule. The White Sox 11, Texas 7. I probably liked this game over, but I really couldn't bet it, so I didn't, because the total on the game was 7. So I, again, ignore this game. St. Louis, I go over 8, and I win. Baltimore wins 13-1. Again, I don't care how I get over 8. I got over 8. So 13-1, but I do notice Baltimore is hitting, right? And St. Louis isn't. Cleveland in California, I play this game under. I don't know what happened. This is 10 innings. Cleveland wins 8-6. I got Cleveland under 7. These teams do not hit, and they had pretty good pitchers going, or I wouldn't have played a game under. Arizona over the Cubs. I do play Arizona. They do win 5-4. Good pitching. I play Philadelphia with Zach Wheeler, with Nova going, but he's been pitching well against Seattle, and Seattle wins 4-1. Again, Philly on the West Coast. We got to be a little more careful with Philly, although I like Philly today with Jesus pitching. So Seattle 4-1. It's just jet lag and tired. They're tired anyway because we're going into September, but when you travel from Philadelphia to Seattle, if me and you just took a plane and just to walk around Seattle and avoid the socialist, we would be tired anyway. So 4-1 there. D-Mark, appreciate you answering my questions yesterday. Yeah, that's what I'm here for, D-Mark. This is a class. We're a family, so that's the point. That's why I do it live. You have a question, ask it. If I can answer it, honestly, I will. And if I don't know the answer, I'll usually try to look it up. But yeah, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. So Philly loses 4-1 to Seattle. Again, the West Coast. Seattle did not have a good pitcher. Philly didn't hit. Again, that's just tired. Oakland 4, Minnesota 2. Not what I would have expected on a total of 10. The score 4-2. So it's confusing where the teams that hit, like Oakland, Minnesota, who normally hit a high score, are 4-2, and the low scoring games are high. Like the Cleveland games should never have been 8-6. Pittsburgh 1, San Diego nothing. I have Pitt. I think I had Pitt over 7. Just the general Pitt. Again, this is a high scoring team. So San Diego, they score a lot, and you get 1-0. And when you look at the pitchers, I got to look at the pitcher. Like, what the fuck? Who pitched here? Paul Scanes, who finally pitched 6 innings and had a 3-hit shutout. So he finally pitched, 87 pitches. He goes 6 innings. That was primary. Part of it is I know Scanes is pitching, but he's pitching like crap. He is not shutting out. He is going 4 innings. He's going 100 pitches. And it's the first time he actually pitched well. And then San Diego King, he pitched 7 innings of shutout ball, which he's got a 3.23. And Pittsburgh scored in the ninth inning off of their best reliever, the .96 reliever, Mike Miller. So, yeah, the pitching was there, but they haven't been pitching well. So this was just a fluke. And normally we're on Scanes, or at least we're on Scanes under. But I do like Pitt over. But yeah, this it was a total of 7. I was expecting obviously more than those runs. Pitt, good hitting team, but again, they're on the West Coast. So you got to watch Philly and Pitt this week on the West Coast. We got the Bengals at the 49ers. The Niners win 3-1. I don't play that one. And that was it. So let's go to the Cleveland game. And what the fuck happened with Cleveland? Even the Tiger game, the Tigers won 4-1. Where's Tampa sitting? Let's go. Cleveland 8-6 in 10 innings. What was the score? 2-2 going into the 10th, and they had a 6-run inning probably. It's 5-0 California right off the bat, and it goes 5-5, 6-5, and 2 runs in the 10th for Cleveland. What the fuck? So we had Gus Williams, 1-1, gives up 6 hits and 5 runs and 1 in the 3rd inning. Who's the manager here? What idiot is managing? The guy gives up 6 hits and 5 runs, and you're leaving him in. He pitched 62 pitches in an inning and a third. At what point did you finally figure out how to manage to get the guy out? That should never happen. Maybe 2 runs, 3 runs. Okay, you can see he's not on. In an inning, he's giving up 6 hits and 60 pitches. And, one gave up 2 home runs. What the fuck are you looking at? And then California had Urena with his 2.0 ERA and 3 2/3 gives up 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 5, 2.94. So you had 2 good pitchers with a 2.94 ERA and a 3 ERA for Cleveland, and they're giving up like 10 runs in 3 innings. Again, because it's averages, and I show it to you with the pitchers. 1 run, 1 run, 2 runs, 0 runs, 1 run, 7 runs. And you don't know when that 7's going to happen. You see the manager has his head way up his ass by leaving him out there until he gives up 7 runs. That's a crime. That's a manager that is clueless. You should never, especially first or second inning, you get to 2 runs in 2 innings. 2 runs in 1 inning is an 18 ERA. 2 runs in 2 innings, I think, is a 9 ERA. What are you thinking? He's supposed to give up 2 runs the whole game. And you're so quick to take him out. It reminds me of that Gambler movie with James Caan. So James Caan in the beginning of the movie gets on a bad streak, and he keeps going and he loses $44,000 in 1971, which was 8 Eldorados, as the guy said. Well, what did he do? He kept playing and playing and playing, and his streak was bad, bad, bad. Then he gets to Vegas, and then he gets on his run. But even that, he fucks up. He wins 13 hands in a row at craps, but you don't see him 7 out. He just leaves. He hits a roulette. He wins 12,000 hitting a 7, and then he leaves. Where are you going? Then he wins 4 hands in a row at Baccarat, 2,000 a hand, and he gets up and leaves. And the girl says, "Oh, this is our lucky table." And he goes, "Not anymore. We're winning, so I'm leaving." And then he plays the blackjack at Caesars, and he double downs on an 18. Why do you double down on an 18? Just take a hit. He doubles down and gets the 3, and he says, "That's it. We're done." You just doubled down on 18 and got a 3. You're not going anywhere. You're sitting there for the next hour if you're catching 3s on 18. He finally caught his streak and he gets up and leaves. What a moron. That is not how you gamble. You are looking for the streak, and that's what when you find it, you're never leaving. I was at the first time I really learned craps. We're at the table 45 minutes. This guy was hitting points for 45 minutes. I won like $2,000, and I took out 100, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I got black chips out on the numbers because the dealers were helping me, and I didn't really know what I kind of got the concept of the game, but I didn't really know how to bet. I just turned 21 or something, and so they were helping me. But the odd part is I knew he was going to 7-out. That's the sad part. The flow of the table got interrupted because my friends asked me something, and it broke. And then I knew, and had I known, I would have said no bet and taken my bet down because I knew he was going to 7-out. I could feel it. That was my first feeling it. And anyway, but I stayed for the 45 minutes till he did 7-out. And how that relates to baseball, the guy's pitching well. Scanes yesterday, he's got 3-hit shutout. Why are you pulling him? He only pitched 80-some pitches. Why are you pulling him? He's hot. We finally got Scanes hot, shutting out the team, and you fucking idiots pull him. He should have pitched at least 8 innings, if not 9. Who cares if he throws 125? Oh, because analytics says he can only go so long. And you're like, oh my God. So this is the problem we have. We're dealing with idiot managers who listen to analytics who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. All right, let's look at August 26 games. So I'm going to go right to the free play. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's see. All right. Boston at Miami. We've got Sonny Corleone going against Ryan Gusto. Gusto's won 4. He's 4-1 his last 5. His last 6 games: 1 run, 6 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, 4 runs, 0. But he only goes 4 innings. Sonny Gray has a 2.80 ERA. He's been pitching lights out, and he's 4-1 his last 5. He's 8-2 his last 10. In his last 6 games, he's 5 runs, 4 runs, 0-2, 0-4. So your free play is going to be Boston. We'll go 3 units with Sonny Corleone on the mound. All right, we got the Sonny, the Sunster. The second game I want to look at is Houston and the Yankees. We got Jack Lambert for Houston and E. Rodriguez for the Yankees. The Yankees are 118-9. Houston beat them pretty good yesterday. We've been on Jack Isle, and he's been pretty good. He's 4-2 his last 6. He lost the last game 18-3, although he gave up 9 runs against fucking California. Jesus. You know, you look at these different teams and they can't hit, and then all of a sudden they get 10 runs on you, and you're like, how did that happen? So his last 6, 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, and a 9. And before that, it was 1 run, 1 run, and a 0. So in 8 in a row, he's one game at 3 and everything else at 2. And then he comes in 79 pitches and 8 hits, 9 runs, and 3 2/3 against, of all teams, California. Something smells to high heaven there. But we still like Jack Lambert. And at the Yankees against E. Rodriguez. And really, I don't know who E. Rodriguez is. I can't get an E. Rodriguez, motherfucker. All I can say is he's got a 4.76 ERA. Fuck, I wanted to bet Jack Lambert today, but I can't if I can't get that. Let's see if I can get the Toronto guy. Spencer Mills comes up. All right. Let's go to plan B, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. We got Jesus going against Ric Flair, which has got to be an under game. Jesus for Philly from Peru. Won his last 4, and he's won 8. He's 8-2 his last 10. Jesus has been hot. We know. We've been betting him and winning with him all the time. His last 6, 1 run, a 6, a 0, 2, 1, and a 4. Before that, it's 1-1, 0, 1-1, a 6, 0, 2, 1, and 4 in the 6th game against Miami of all teams. And then 4 last time against St. Louis. Now, they are on the West Coast, and they've been struggling, but now today's Wednesday, they got their Monday. Maybe they're getting a little bit more comfortable. Ric Flair, Brian Wu from Cal Poly. Should have been Pomona. Ric Flair is 2-3 his last 5, so he's starting to come alive. He's a good pitcher, we know, and we're hoping. 3 runs, 5-5-0-0-2. So this will be your second free play. We're going to go Philly and hope they're still tired. We're going to go under 7.5. And we're going to go 3 innings. And Ric Flair's pitching well. We know Jesus is pitching well. Now, normally we would take Jesus, but they're struggling on the West Coast, and they're not hitting. They got 1 run yesterday against nobody that good. Ric Flair's been pitching well. A little bit. He gets you in the figure 4 once in a while. Pokes your eyes, typical Ric Flair stuff. So the 4.11 ERA, I'm not going to agree with. His last 6 has been 3 runs, 5-5-0-0-2. They're all about 5 innings. He had a 7-inning shutout. So, 5, 10, 13, 15 runs in 6 games is just under a 3. Well, that's not true because the ERA is 9 innings. So he's somewhere, but he's pitching pretty good, and Philly's tired. So Philly's normally tough after a loss, but again, they're tired from the flight, and they're in the socialist city, so that can't make them feel good. So we'll go 2 good pitchers. Again, I would take Jesus, but when you get a Ric Flair or you get a Schittler or somebody like that or Scanes, you got to play the game under. So we will go under with Philadelphia. All right, so those are your free plays. Tampa at Detroit. We've got Detroit 119, 7.5. Peralta 5.33 for Tampa. Todd Melton 170 for Detroit. So he's their best pitcher for Detroit, although he pitched like shit the last game. Peralta from the Dominican Republic. And he's 3-2 his last 5, 3-4 his last 7. 2, 4, 6. Gave up 7 runs, 3 runs, 7 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, 5 runs. Peralta basically sucks. Detroit should hit him, and then everybody can, look at Detroit's hitting. Yeah, they hit a guy who sucks. Todd Melton from San Diego State. The only good thing about him. And let's get to his game logs. Hello. He's 7-3 for the 10 games he's pitched. His last 6 have been 2 runs, shutout, 1, 3-3. So when he lost the last game, it was 3. But the last 2, it's 3-3. One of the White Sox, but Kansas City, who doesn't hit. So he's losing a little. 3 walks game, 94 pitches in 5 innings, 92-6, 97-7. So he's pretty good. Again, I'll use my college football analogy. If Ohio State beats Grambling, does it really matter? Are you going to look at that as how good Ohio State is? Well, they beat Grambling. Now go ahead and do that to Texas. Then I'll believe you. And that's sort of like what I'm looking at here with Melton. do it against Philly, do it against the Dodgers, do it against the Yankees, Boston. Okay, then I'll believe you. Doing it against Washington and Miami, while they're pro teams, you just question it. John C., I'm fine, thank you. Great games, thank you. So like I say, football, you can have both weekends in college, week 1A and 1B for $50. I have a big lot going, and I played 2 games. I might play 3 this weekend, but I did play 2. And then we have then you get next week. And there's a few teams that played this week, like Vegas and Hawaii, that Stanford, that you want to bet maybe the week after, but you got to see how they are the first week and injuries and stuff like that. So anyway, nice lock. I love the lock this weekend. So for $50, you'd get both weekends and the lock and everything. Normally it'd be 75 again. Some guys bought the year, and it's $35 a week, but I get it if you're financially you don't have the 750 yet, then you can go week by week. But I'd kind of go by month because it's 300 for 4 weeks. If you play 100, it's 400 for 4 weeks until I make you enough money that you can buy the year out. But we will see. And I understand the money's worthless, so the inflation. So again, when I get paid, I go and buy gold and silver with it. As you should. When you win, you should go buy gold and silver with it. But yeah, I'm kind of amazed that I figured out baseball. I remember I was working at GM in the Rensen downtown, a nice building, and there was food and stuff. And I'm doing baseball, and people are seeing me with a spreadsheet. And, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm learning baseball. And have you figured it out? And I said, not yet, but I will. And that was a couple years ago. And that was my job just before Mercedes. That was like 6-7 years ago. And then I put it away, and I said, it's just too, because I was looking at teams. And being a critical thinker the way I am, I've now figured out it's the pitching and it's not the teams. And I'll tell you, half the time I'm looking at the games yesterday, I don't know what I won and lost. I don't remember who I bet because I'm not betting the team. I can't say I took the Cubs or I took the White Sox or I took California. I don't know who I did until I look at my sheet going, oh, you had Milwaukee yesterday. That's how tough it is. But that's really the key. And then you look at the pitcher streaks. He's got a lot of overs and unders. I'm not seeing a lot of those streaks where the pitcher has 8 overs or 8 unders like we did in the beginning. Now it's all scrambled eggs. Two overs, 2 unders. He's 2-5. How many times did I tell you? Well, he's 3-2 the last 5. I mean, it's insane. Even the good ones, Scanes, Mizorowski. We just bet Mizorowski. I don't care I don't even look at his stats. I just go, I'm betting Mizorowski, and we're going from there. But that's what we're really looking for. We're looking for the Joe Burrow. We're looking for the Mahomes in baseball. And it's Mizorowski, and it's Suarez, and it's Steve Schitler, and even Sonny Gray, and Chris Sale. We're finding the star, and that's so we're betting on Montana, and we're betting on Brady, we're betting on Mahomes. That's what we're actually doing in baseball. It's brilliant. I can't believe I figured that out. DeMarc, I can't believe Jamar Chase is hurt already before week 1. Bengals have bad. What happened? Is he out for the year? Is it just an ankle? Because I know it's hard to get him out. I heard the Lions lost a few players. Oh, poor babies. And I heard Kamara's out already. This is why I can give you all the games for week 1 now, except if they get injured, that's why we don't bet week 1 before week 1. So when week 1 hits, I guess that would be Labor Day week. When that hits, I then check the injuries, and then who's playing? Possibly his ACL knee injury. Well, that's not good. Prophet, good morning. Um, well, it does affect it as good as Joe Burrow is. Chase is the over guy because he just runs through everybody. Did it happen in practice or in the preseason game? I know there was a few injuries in the preseason games, and there's some in practice. That's why you got to play these guys in the preseason. You act like, oh, they can get hurt in that. Well, Chase probably got hurt in practice. What are you going to do? Not practice? Just have them stand around on the football field and play catch with each other? I mean, injuries happen. It's part of the game. That's why you need a good GM who gives you backups. And that's the problem with teams like the Lions. They paid their certain players a lot. Golf, they gave them 60 million. They're out of their fucking minds. And they signed the running back and the receiver and a defensive that and that. So what happens when they get hurt? You don't have any money to sign anybody else. That's why the Lions have sucked, because their defense, they can't afford a good defensive player. Why didn't they trade for Micah Parsons? Why didn't they trade for Myles Garrett? They don't have any money. They can't afford to pay them because they have to pay Dan Hutchinson, who stinks because he's never going to recover from breaking his leg in half. Hurt during practice. Well, that's what I'm saying. What are you supposed to do? You've got to practice. You got to get the timing down. Well, hopefully it won't be, or you say possibly his ACL. So maybe it's a sprain. Maybe he'll fast for a week and it'll recover. So we'll see. And the key to the mix is Joe Burrow. So as long as you have Joe Burrow, you still have T. Higgins. I'm sure they have other receivers who are fast, who can get open, but not who Burrow is comfortable with. So we will see. And again, we watched one. Now, first week I was going to go over Cincinnati and Tampa with the Baker against Burrow. I was going to go over. So now, well, one thing will happen is the line will drop a lot. And that's when you would look. So if you didn't tell me that, and I'd see the over go from 48 to 42, I'd go, what happened? And then I would see, oh, Chase got hurt. And so I would adjust accordingly. But the key to the drink is still Joe Burrow. So we might still be able to bet over. We just don't have Chase, unfortunately. I think we have a good tight end. We have a good running back, and we have T. Higgins, who I don't think is anywhere near Chase. Maybe he needs to grab some guys from LSU. Bobby, we need some receivers. So that's too bad. All right, let's get back to this. Peralta against Melton. Detroit did win yesterday. Tampa's much the better team. Milton, maybe he's better at home. Okay. The Cubbies at Arizona. We got Matthew Boyd against E. Rodriguez. Is this the same E. Rodriguez who's on the other? Maybe that's why we couldn't see it. Oh, no, that's G. Rodriguez. Or no, we weren't even looking at that. We were looking at some other Rodriguez. There's an E. Rodriguez on the Yankees with the 4.76 and an E. Rodriguez on Arizona. There's too many E. Rodriguez's clearly in the league. All right. The Cubbies are 105, 8.5 at Arizona. Matthew Boyd against E. Rodriguez. But this E. Rodriguez has a 2.61 ERA. So I think this is the guy who was on the Tigers. Boyd's been pitching very well. Used to play on the Tigers. So, of course, the Tigers let him go because they don't want to pay salary because they're the cheapest team in the country. And they are 7-3 his last 10, but 2-2 his last 4. That's why I predicate it. He's good overall, but we really care about his last 4 or 5, and he's 2-2. Last 6 games, 1 run, 0, 5, 2, 7, 5. So he is not pitching good. And the games at Arizona, Eduardo Rodriguez from Venezuela. And he's 7-1 his last 8. And his last 6, 2 runs, 0, 7, 2, 2, and 0. Again, what is with these 7s? Are these fixed? I mean, the guy throws two out, gives up 2 runs, 0, 0, 0, and then a 7. But every pitcher is the same, and then they go back to 1 run, 1 run, 1 run. What the fuck's going on here? You can't pitch a bunch of 1 runs, 0 runs, and then give up a 7. It's insane. All right. So with Boyd slipping and Rodriguez he got rid of his 7-run game. I think you know what to do with it. I can't give all the free picks. I got people paying for this stuff. The Niners 105 7.5. Nick Lodolo, who stinks, against Roop, who I think stinks too. This smells like an over, even though the Reds aren't hitting. I got a feeling they can hit this guy. Lodolo is 2-3 his last 5. 0 runs, 1 run, 2, 4, 0, and 6 his last game. So 406 his last 3 games for Lodolo. Roop for the 49ers. I don't know why Montana's not pitching. And this guy's just a butthead. 2, 4. He's lost his last 6. 2, 4, 6. 2 runs, 4, 5, 1, 4, 4. I got to give you a third free. So play this game over 7.5, 3 units. I don't really get how, in God's name, this is a 7.5. Nick Lodolo gives up a lot of runs, and his Roop. Not only does he lose every game, he gives up 3, 4 runs. So I would tell you to take Cincy with against Roop, but Lodolo is not anything. He's got a 5 ERA. How is this a 7.5? So this is where the line dictates us to go over. So here's your third free play. So you got Boston, you got Philly under 7.5 because they're tired from the trip. And here are the Niners. We're going over 7.5 because you got 2 junk pitchers. How this game doesn't get to 7.5, even if nobody can hit against these pitchers, they will hit. I mean, they are kind of minor. They're really minor leaguers, but they're playing in the majors. So once in a while, they do get a few hits. Cleveland against the California Angels. Cleveland 133, 8.5. I don't know what happened yesterday. It was terrible pitching. Cantillo 3.74 against G. Rodriguez with a 6.41 ERA. So Joey Cantillo 3-2 his last 5. 2-4-6. 5 runs, shutout, 5 runs, 1 and 1. One of the ones was 1 inning, and one was 4 innings. 6 innings, 1. So 5.05, 1.11. He's a pretty good pitcher, but I'm worried that California hit him pretty good. Grayson Rodriguez from Texas. Obviously, he crashed the border and came over. 2, 4. So he's 1-6 his last 7. And his last 6 runs, 5 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 4, 3, and 2. All right. And again, we have Cleveland going to California. So we have a lot of these teams going to the West Coast, and they're tired, and they got to get used to it. So by this weekend, it should be better to bet Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Cleveland. Right now, they're a little bit tired. Philly, Seattle, I've already given you. Go under 7.5. Jesus against Ric Flair. It'll be a good match. That should be on TV. Pitt at San Diego. San Diego 138.5. 1-0. Scanes yesterday. So finally, our boys pitching. We got Chandler 4.42 against Vasquez 4.01. Bubba Chandler. Let's see who's Bubba Chandler. And Bubba, he's 3-1 his last 4, 3-3 his last 6. 2.46. Shutout 5-3. Shutout 2-4. So that's what we got. So he gives up some runs. Vasquez. I'm thinking over in the game, but let's see. Randy Vasquez from the Dominican Republic. He's 3-1 his last 4, and he's his last 6 1 run, shutout, 2, 4, and 2. He's pitching pretty well, although one of them was a 2-inning game. Last game was a 7-inning 2-runner. Pretty good. Pitt tired. I got to pass this game. After seeing Scanes, they're not going to hit. Let's go. Boston, Miami. We've already played Boston. Sonny Gray against Gusto. You got to love Sonny Gray. Boston's been very, very hot. Colorado, Washington, I don't even want to look at. Fuck you, Washington. They're batting a bunch of guys hitting under 240. The whole roster is hitting under 240. So I'm losing because I got a minor league lineup. Fuck them. I'm not playing them. I don't want to see it. All right, Jack Lambert against Rodriguez. Again, we looked at him. Jack is 4-2 his last 6. 2 runs, 3-2, and then a 9. And E. Rodriguez, no, he doesn't exist. I can't play this as much as I want to play Jack Lambert because he's a really good pitcher, but he gave up 9 his last game. So I imagine he's going to shut out the Yankees because pitchers like that who have a bad game, they give up 7, 8, 9 runs because the manager leaves them in, gets pretty pissed off, and they're good pitchers. And I think Houston's going to win, but I can't until I can see E. Rodriguez. I got to lay off. KC, Toronto. KC's been playing pretty good. Toronto's 148, 8.5. Dobnik, who I think is has a real good ERA, 1.50 against S. Miles 9. Can anybody explain why Toronto's a 148 favorite when KC's got a 150 ERA pitcher on the mound and their guys is 9? Anybody at all? Bueller? Anybody tell me why this spread is like this? Randy Dobnik, there's our boy with the glasses and beard. From Elderson, Broadouts in West Virginia. He was born in South Park, so he's a cartoon character. He's been pretty good. He's 3-2 his last 5, 3-3 his last 6. And I'm going to go through all 10. 2 runs, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 4, 0, 0. This guy's serious. He goes 95, 100 pitches. Okay, what's the problem? And who's Spencer Miles from Missouri, where our friend Scherzer's from. And Spencer's won his last 4 and 5. He's 5-1. But he's a bullpen guy. So we got the Toronto bullpen against that. All right. Well, fuck off. This has got to be. It seems like the easiest game on the board. You got a bullpen guy going against a real pitcher with a 1.50 ERA. But that's not even the caveat. Is Toronto's a 148 favorite with the reliever on the mound. He's good for 1 inning. So who are you bringing in now that can't pitch the first inning, but you're gonna use them for the next 4 or 5 innings against the guy with the 1.50 who the worst game he's had in all 10 has been 4 runs. Most of them are shutouts. So yeah, okay. Milwaukee and the Mets. The Mets won in 10. Sloppy play by the third baseman yesterday. Bases loaded, ground ball to third in the 10th inning. All he's got to do is throw it to the plate, throws it wild. We're looking at fucking minor league player. How can you not throw the ball from third base to the catcher and get the force at the plate? Are you fucking kidding me? I could do all this in Little League. I don't know why it's so difficult in the pros, except for they're not pros. Milwaukee, 143, 8.5 to the JETSs. Dusty May, the coach of Michigan, he sucks. He's 2-6 his last 8. And I know he just came over to Milwaukee. Well, he's either 0-2 or 1-2. And then his last 6 games is 5 runs, 1, 0, 2, 1, and 7. So he's given up a 5 and a 7 in 2 innings. another 2-6, a 1-7 against San Diego. He beat Pitt 5-2. He beat the Cubbies 3-2. And then they put him as he beat St. Louis, which he was on St. Louis. So I'm not really thrilled with Dusty May. I'm not thrilled that the Milwaukee didn't hit yesterday. Robert Stock from USC. He's only pitched in 4 games. He's 2-2. 1 run, 8 ones, 1 run, 1 run. But these are all 3-4 innings. He's 80 pitches. He uses up in 4 innings. His ERA is 5.4. Last year he was on Boston. He pitched 2 games, had a 10 ERA. He pitched 1 game for the Cubbies in 2021 and the JETSs in 2021. Oh, shit. He goes all the way back to 2018. He pitched 32 games, had a 2.50 then, and then it's been the bye-bye blues since then. 2019, a 10 ERA, 2020, a 4, 2021, a 5, an 11, a 10, a 5. This guy basically stinks against Milwaukee. All right. The Dodgers at Atlanta. This reminds me of the Rams and the Falcons. Dodgers 127, 8.5. Suzuki 4.42 against Smith Sawyer 6.75. I don't know. Atlanta's the best team. It's Milwaukee, the Dodgers, and Atlanta for the best team in the National League. I don't get it. Sasaki from Japan. He brings his salt onto the mound also. He had a 5-game winning streak, then he lost 2, and then he beat Colorado, which I don't even think that counts. 6 games, 1-1, 2-2, 2-2. So this guy is pretty good, pretty under. It's a 2 ERA, obviously. Well, a little bit more because that's in 6 innings. But we're just averaging it. Smith Sawyer 0-2, 2 runs and 4 runs in 4 innings, 6.23 ERA. Last year he pitched in 9 games, 3.86, nothing in 24, 23, 6 games, 4.26. This guy, I guess, is injured a lot. So Suzuki, he's given up 2 runs. Okay. And we got Texas at the White Sox. Mackenzie Gore, 4.28 against Sean Burke, who I like. We've been winning with him, 3.57. The White Sox, 117-8. Gore with the 4.28. Has won his last 4. Shutout 1, 3-0. Let's go back 6. 3-3 shutout, 1-3 shutout. Shutouts were 6 innings. So pretty good. Before he gave up 5, 7, and 5, but since then it's been 3.30, 1.30. So his ERA is getting much better. Sean Burke, the goalie for New Jersey, also is playing baseball. And he is 3-2 his last 5. And his last 6 have been 3-run shutout, 2-1, 4-4 his last 2. A lot of overs there. Probably an over game here, but this is what I don't know what you're going to get here. The White Sox have been playing good ball. Texas, Gore's been pitching better, so time to watch. Baltimore, St. Louis, we went over yesterday, and Baltimore won 13-1. We got St. Louis 105, 8.5. Bradish 3.72 for Baltimore. McGreevy 3.55 for St. Louis, who appears to be okay. He's decent. Not great. He's no Mizorowski. All right, Kyle Bradish is 4-3 his last 7, 1-3 his last 4. Last 3 have been under. Last 6, 1 run, 5, 2-2-2, 5. So very too inconsistent for me. Michael McGreevy from Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara. Gotta love it. He's won his last 4 games. And his last 6 have been overs. His last 6 games, 4 runs, 7, 2, 3, 3, and 3. And I believe Bradish has been over. We might have stumbled on something. No, Bradish's last 3 were unders. He's more of an under pitcher, even though he's gone 1 run, 5, 2, 2, 2, and 5. 8.5. My guess is this goes over. McGreevy's not a good pitcher. Bradish, okay. 8.5. It was 13-1 yesterday. So Baltimore's hitting. St. Louis should hit a little more today. I'm scared to take McGreevy as he goes over every game. Baltimore should hit. And Bradish, this is a tough one. The 8.5 scares me a little bit. So what I think should be over, you had a lot of runs. McGreevy gives up a lot. Maybe you take Bradish, but he's okay. I can't pull the trigger. If you have to bet this game, I'd bet it over 8.5, but I can't bet it. I can't like it. In our last game, Minnesota at Oakland, Minnesota 134, 10.5. This was they scored 5 runs yesterday. They're not hitting. Pre-lap 5-6-1 against Gin, 3-5-3. Gin had one good game, and since then he's sucked. He almost had a no-hitter, and then he's done. Prelapse lost his last 4 games. Some under, some over. Last 6. 3 rounds, 1, 3, 3, 8, and 6. This guy is a junk fire. Gin from Mississippi State. We like old Mississippi State. 2 and 3 his last 5. His last 3 were unders. 2, 4, 6, 8 runs, shutout. 3 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs. So that's how we're betting this one. And that's it. So I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Who do we appreciate? Your 3 free picks. Boston. We've got Sonny Gray. Philadelphia under 7.5. We got Jesus going against Ric Flair in what should be a low-scoring game. And the 49ers over 7.5. We got 2 pigs going. And the total is way too low, 7.5. Does the wind blow in San Francisco off McCovey Bay or whatever? Why did they call it Willie Mays Bay? That would have been a better name. So that's what we got. So you get caught in some of these games like the Baltimore St. Louis game. You don't know what to do with it. It logically sounds like an over 8.5. They scored 14 runs yesterday. McGreevy, St. Louis pitcher, pitches like a pig, gives up a lot of runs. But see, just like Scanes yesterday, I said, well, this is it. Scanes goes 4 innings, and they give up a lot of runs. And even though Scanes is pitching, but Scanes can throw the shutout. And that's really what you have to be careful with. Once in a while, Scanes wakes up. Maybe he likes San Diego, and he throws you the shutout, which you know he's capable of. He's one of the best pitchers in the league. It's just sometimes he's pitching bad and he's walking a lot, or they're hitting 100 foul balls off of him, and he goes 4 innings and he goes 90 pitches. And that's really the skew in baseball is there's 2 skews. The pitcher who goes 1-1-1 and then gives up the 7. There's the 4 ERA pitcher who then throws the 1-hit shutout the only time of the year when you bet them. And then there's everything's good. You've got the starters. They're pitching exactly. It's 1-1 going into the 8th. And then the manager goes to the bullpen. 8 runs later, there goes your under, and you're fucked. So those are the problems with baseball. That's why I don't lock too many. And I think the biggest game I went was 5 with the Mizorowski. Most of mine are 2 and 3 units. Occasionally a 4-unit game. It's got to be Mizorowski, or it's got to be Burns or Chris Sale or somebody that the manager, even if he pulls him after 7, he's shut you out. So that's what I see. Anyway, I did talk game theory about poker, and it's just mathematical formulas, and they do it in war, and it's so stupid. It doesn't work. It's not even based on the proper thing. Game theory is putting numbers in a computer. It'd be like me dumping all the stats for the Cincinnati Bengals and then trying to come up with the optimal theory. Well, they're going to score 28 and give up 17 because I dumped all the numbers in. But the only problem is against whom? So I'm gonna base the Cincinnati Baltimore game differently than I'm looking at the Cincinnati against the JETSs. You cannot. They are vast differences. In college, we take that Grambling game out and we just look at Ohio State, Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon. That's who Ohio State is, not Grambling and Elkhorn State and Old Mississippi, AT&T. And that's the critical thinking part. That's why we're successful. We don't just group the numbers together. That's what poker is. They just group the numbers together, and the normal range will be he's got king 10 offsuit, and it's you cannot try to guess the people's whole cards. You have no idea. You have no idea anybody's whole cards. Now, if I bet 25, I probably have a good hand, but I could do it with a bad hand, but I mostly do it with the good hand. But it depends who I'm playing, and it depends if I'm up or down. If I'm up 200, I'm firing on aces, kings, queens, ace, king. But I'm still not playing 10-3 offsuit. You're pretty sure I'm not playing that hand, which is fine. I don't like losing, so I'm not going to play losing hands. Just like I'm not going to bet on the Jets. I don't want to lose. I mean, it's as simple as that. We go to the cream, and that's why we win. We bet the cream. We bet Mizorowski. We don't bet Dustin May for Milwaukee. I'm not going within 20 feet of that guy. So that's game theory. It's just formulas, and we know formulas never work. We're watching analytics. They never work. So they can all fuck off. All right, let's go to college football odds. We'll go 1A and 1B. I've given you a free game, which is the Boise, Oregon over. I have a lot going this weekend. I love the lock. I have a feel on that this game, it'll be over at halftime. I have that feeling. All right, we start off with TCU, 7.5, some 8.5, 47 to North Carolina in Ireland. I don't know. TCU's got a new quarterback. Don't know who he is, if he's any good. Usually TCU has good quarterbacks, as does Texas Tech, as does Baylor. Usually they're very high scoring Texas guys. And in Texas, they're pretty good quarterbacks. And so they get the best quarterbacks in Texas high school, go to these school, and they light it up. So usually they were lighted up. North Carolina, they got a new transfer quarterback. They brought in the coach from Louisville, Brom, to be their offensive coordinator. I think it's Brom, one of those guys. And you got Belichick's girlfriend running the rest of the team. Maybe she'll be a coach. Apparently Steve Belichick is injured or something. He's not going to be coaching the defense. I mean, what kind of nepotism it is? The defensive coordinator. Oh, it's my son. He doesn't know what football is, but I'm making him the defensive coordinator. So that's a noon game on Saturday. We've got USC 38-60 to San Jose State. It started at 35. It's 60. It's at USC. San Jose State is a W team, and USC is a B team. Mayavi is back for USC, and San Jose State gets a new quarterback. NC State, Virginia. This spread's weird. There's a pick 'em, there's a 2.5, there's a 3, there's a 5.5. Most of them are 5.5s and 53.5. I don't get this spread. I don't know what to use. Uh, NC State an over team, Virginia B team, a new transfer quarterback for Virginia. They had the guy from Texas State or something, Morris. I don't think he got drafted. He was really good. And NC State's got Bailey, the quarterback. So he's been there before. So I would expect some points. NC State's an over team, which means their defense kind of sucks. And it's when you look at it, the defense kind of sucks. Unless you're Texas Tech and bring in all these high-priced guys, your defense is probably going to suck this year because it's the same coach. It's the quarterback that comes in that makes the difference. Oh, now I got to go. I got Joe Montana now. We're going to score points. And that's the difference with the college. But the defense usually is the same defense. Michigan's defense will be better with Whittingham because he runs a great defense at Utah. So there, I'm pretty confident you're going to get a good defense. And Ohio State will have a good defense. Bama will have a decent defense. Georgia, I hope they get back to my Georgia team. Texas Tech, how good will their defense be? Utah and BYU's will be good. Michigan will be good. Indiana will be good. Oregon, probably good. Washington needs to be better. Penn State, I think, will have a very good defense. Don't discount the coaching moves, right? James Madison coach goes to Indiana, and they win the title. The next James Madison coach, Chesney, goes to UCLA. UCLA will not be a Z team this year. They will be, what do I got them at? I got them as a B team. They had a 33 defense, but I changed it to a B team because of Chesney, the James Madison coach. That's the differentiation you have to make is the new coach comes in. Who's the quarterback? So when you see the new coach come in from James Madison, you go, hey, I'm going to keep an eye on UCLA. I'm not betting them right off the bat. I'm going to keep an eye on them, and it won't be surprised if they're a top 10 team because James Madison hires good coaches. So it's things like that that you need to look at. Also, another thing is Michigan State had this Childs as the quarterback, and he sucked. Now he's on Northwestern. Well, guess what? They won't have it. Their offense will suck too. So again, a bad quarterback you follow around like Buglia. We followed him. He stunk everywhere he was at. And that's the difference. So watch these bad quarterbacks. Watch the good ones. So when Hoover goes from TCU to Indiana, Indiana is going to be better this year than they were last year. They were okay last year, but this year they're going to score more points because they got a better quarterback. They got a TCU quarterback, not a Cal quarterback who sucked at Cal. That's why I don't understand Mendoza being the first pick. Okay, he had a good year, but big deal. He had a great running. He had great defense. He had great receivers and a great coach. How's he going to fail? Even the guy the year before was good. And now they bring in a real good quarterback in Hoover and look out. But that doesn't make Mendoza any good. He's not going to do anything on Oakland. Oh, speaking of injuries, Gentry, the Oakland running back, got hurt pretty seriously. I don't know if he broke his ankle or has a high ankle sprain, but he'll be out for a little bit. So you Oakland guys, be careful. No Gentry, big problems. All right. North Dakota State, Jacksonville State. I don't know how you can bet this game. I've got North Dakota State 6.5, 7.5, total of 47. I have no bearing because I can't look at North Dakota State playing Division II and say, oh, this is what they are. So you leave them alone. You watch the first 3 or 4 games. Here they got Jacksonville State, who's a good running team. They're an E team with the 26 defense. The quarterback is back. We'll see how good they are. Eastern Michigan against Sacramento State, also a new Division II team going up to Division I. I got Eastern 9.5, 52.5. So you can see how the line's moving. This was 8.5. It's now 9.5. This is what I'm trying to get through to you is you want to buy now and bet now because by Saturday, this line could be 11 or 12. You're going to lay more points than you should by waiting. So that's why I'm saying buy now, get your bet in now. My bet's in. I've already made that. I bet it last week. I bet it last Friday when I told you it was out there. And so don't wait till Friday night or Saturday morning to buy and then wonder what the line's 3-point difference. And it will move. Stanford and Hawaii. All I can say on this game is Hawaii's quarterback, Aduhar, was injured and he hurt his ankle and he didn't play spring ball, but they say he's better. This line got up to 6.5, Stanford. I couldn't believe it. And now it's back down to 4.5. And total of 49, 48, 49. And so obviously he's playing, and I knew he was playing. I already checked it out. So, watch the line. If it goes up to, it was 3.5, it went up to 6, and I couldn't figure out why. Then I thought it was the quarterback was injured, and then I kept reading. No, he's fine. He's playing. Now it's proof because the line's gone back down 6.5 to 4.5. And I just crack up at the line. It's a bad line. Florida State 30.5, 52 to New Mexico State. Florida State, a B team, new transfer quarterback. New Mexico State, a W team with a returning quarterback. New Mexico State looks like a 38 defense. Florida State should have an easy time. I don't know how good they are. I don't know how good this quarterback is, a transfer one. I don't know why teams can't develop their own quarterbacks. Or are there no good quarterbacks in high school? I don't understand this. High school is probably running these options instead of pocket passers, and it's stupid, but it's all analytics. Oh, I want a quarterback who can run and escape. No, I want a quarterback who's a pocket passer. So there's less and less good quarterbacks out there, which is very bad because you want a quarterback who can stand in the pocket and throw to the receiver. It's a much better team when you can do that versus the quarterback who goes back and runs like a Lamar. Oh, how many big games has Lamar won? Oh, yeah, none. That's the problem with it. Then they start playing for the run, and then the quarterback can't throw, so he's one-dimensional, and you're fucked. So I don't know. We'll see how good Florida State is. But even this is New Mexico State. If they play Miami or Florida, they will play Miami, then we'll see how good or bad Florida State is. This game will be absolutely meaningless. But if they lose it, they'll really stink. Vegas against Memphis. Vegas 4.5, 56.5. Not much change. This was 5. Memphis got a new coach and a new quarterback. Vegas, Dan Mullen's the coach, but they got a new quarterback. They were an over team. Memphis was an A team last year, but we'll see what they are this year. But that's kind of the starting point. So Memphis can score, and Vegas with Dan Mullen. The coach hasn't changed. They'll be high scoring. That's about what you can figure from that. Okay, now we go to week 1B. We start off with Rutgers 29.5, 53 to UMass. UMass, the Z team. UMass, I don't have their total. I think they're like a 35 defense. Rutgers has a 32 defense. They got a new quarterback. So UMass is the worst team in college football. Wake goes against Akron. Wake 23.5, 48.5. Akron's an E team with a new quarterback. Wake's a B team with a new transfer from South Alabama. Akron was a Z team for a while. Now they're starting to improve, sort of like what Connecticut did. Connecticut was a Z team, and then they got better, and you got to catch that. That's why you keep looking at the grades, and that's why you grade them. If you're grading them a Z, and then all of a sudden they start winning or you start playing better, and they lose 32-31, not a Z team that would lose 39 to nothing, you can't bet them as a Z team. So you have to change your strategy. That's why we're always looking for Z teams, because we want a team that's going to just go away 45 to nothing and we'll be happy campers. We don't want any pressure when we're laying 30 against the Z team and we're expecting them to just just fall down. All right. UCF, who's Cook? I don't even know who Cook is. Georgia Tech, Colorado. This game's down to 6.5, 50.5. Well, that's what I had. So the game hasn't changed. Colorado was a Z team last year, a 30 defense. They're starting a freshman this year. They have a new coordinator. Prime basically stinks anyway. Georgia Tech, a B team, but they lose Haynes King. They're going to have Mendoza Jr. be the quarterback, the guy from Indiana's brother, who played a little for Indiana. We have no idea how good he is, but he must be good enough to play for Indiana, right? For that coach. So probably a good quarterback, but we'll see. My gut is that Georgia Tech will beat them pretty good, but we got to see Mendoza. So until I see Mendoza, I can't bet this game. But my hunch is he'll be decent, and I love the Georgia Tech coach much better than I love Prime Junior or Prime Senior. Let's see. Illinois against UAB. Illinois 28, 56.5. UAB is a B team, no, an over team with a 38 defense. They got a new quarterback. Illinois, a B team, 23 defense, and a new transfer quarterback. Luke Altmaier's on the third string for the Lions. That's how good he was. So I don't know. I don't know how good Illinois is. They're going to lay 28 to UAB. That's always one of those games where you just don't know. UAB, terrible defense last year and a new quarterback. So it's like doing the pitching. It's like when we get a new pitcher who's a bullpen guy, you just don't know how to bet it. You can't assume that there's going to be 10 runs in the game. That's why we want data. That's why we don't want a new pitcher or a bullpen pitcher. We want Mizorowski out there. We want Skanes out there. We want somebody we know. Oh yeah, he shuts everybody out. That's who we want to bet on, not these other guys. Eastern 4.5, 53 to San Jose State, and again San Jose State plays week 1. 4.5, 53.5. We got San Jose State. We have no idea. They were a W team with a 33 defense last year, a new quarterback. Eastern, an E team with a 30 defense. Now, both these teams play week 1. Eastern's got Sacramento State. San Jose State's got USC. We see what happens. We'll see how good or bad these teams are, and then we can bet them, but we can't bet them now. We can't bet them until week 1's games. Vegas is like that. I think Memphis is like that. Stanford and Hawaii also play week 1. So we really can't. You really have to see these games because just in case there's injuries, I'm not going to sit there and bet Hawaii week 2 and then the quarterback gets hurt. I'm like, well, now I'm fucked. So you can't bet until that. And I do post on the site if I'm playing these games, I will say week 1, like first game of the doubleheader, second game of the doubleheader, who I'm betting on. Big Purdue's got a big game with INST, whoever the fuck that is, some institute. Michigan State, Toledo. Now I had talked about Toledo, an A team with a 12 defense. They do have a new coach, and a lot of players went with the coach to wherever he's coaching. I don't remember where. It's not important right now, but he did move on, and took a lot of his players. And that's the other thing. So the North Texas coach moved to Oklahoma State. He took 20 of his players with him. So North Texas is in bad shape because they lost a lot of players, but Oklahoma State is better because they brought a lot. The Southern Miss coach did that. He went from Marshall to Southern Miss. He took his quarterback and 20 guys, and now he's at Memphis, and his quarterback was done, but he took guys with him. So now this is the new thing. The coach switches and takes 20 of his players with. Fuck off. I'm busy. I don't have phones. What do they want to lend me money? I'm not asking for money. They want to lend me money. We have gold. We don't borrow money. Michigan State. Okay, so Michigan State's got a new coach, the Northwestern guy, Fitzgerald. Now, if this was last year, I would be all over Toledo with the 12 defense. And I'd be very scared. And Michigan State doesn't have much. Michigan State's got a 30 defense. So Michigan State's a W team, but they got a new coach. So I assume a little bit better defense. We'll see. Toledo, an A team with the 12 defense, but you've got a new coach. So all that's gone. So we don't know what we have here. So don't play Toledo. I like the game under, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know who the new Toledo coach is. Is he one of the coordinators? So he's going to keep his system. Possibly. I'm sure they'll get a good coach. Toledo always wins the MAC or right up there with it, with Miami of Ohio. Once in a while, a Western or an Eastern Michigan gets there. But normally it's Ohio, Miami of Ohio, and Toledo winning the MAC. Northern Illinois did a lot. And so it's a very good team, Toledo. There's probably not much of a difference between them and Michigan State. It's a very weak Michigan State team. So the 10.5 and 50, like I said, if this was a little bit further on, I'd be all over the under in this game because they're not going to score much on Toledo. Toledo's a very well-coached team for a MAC team. Oklahoma, 41.5, UTEP 50. Oklahoma's got no offense. Mateer's back. Great defense. For some reason, they gave the coach a 5-year extension. I don't know why. I don't know what you're saying that he's a good coach. And UTEP's terrible. They're a W with a 30 defense, a new quarterback. The problem I have with Oklahoma here is scoring. Can they score 40 points? I don't know, but UTEP's pretty bad. Oklahoma might be out to prove something. But again, it's a big spread. I feel a lot more comfortable with Indiana lane 40 than I do with Oklahoma lane 40. Good defense. They'll probably shut out UTEP, which makes you maybe go to the under because you don't think Oklahoma is going to score. A lot of the points in this game will come from UTEP turnovers, a pick six, a fumble recovery. That's how these games get off whack because Oklahoma will blitz UTEP a lot, and then that'll lead to fumbles and interceptions, not Oklahoma offense. And then, so you get 52-0 or something. So hard one to figure here because Oklahoma offensively can't score 40 points. Mateer's terrible. All right, Miami and Stanford. Again, we got to wait for Stanford to play Hawaii week 1. Miami, 24.5, 48.5. Have a very good quarterback in Menshaw. They got Tony, the great receiver, and a great running back in Fletcher. Did they replace Reuben Baines? I think they did. I think they brought in some defensive help. So look for Miami to be right there, top 5 team with Ohio State, with Indiana, not Oregon. They're not with that quarterback, not Texas. Alabama and Georgia. We'll see if they're in the top 5. Notre Dame, maybe, hard to say. But they will kill Stanford unless Stanford looks really good. Let's see what Stanford looks like. But I think this line's very low, 24 for Miami, except for they're going to the West Coast. And we know how, look at the Phillies struggling in Seattle. So that's the thing. Miami going all the way cross country. I think it's early enough that they'll be focused. It's their first game. So this line's very low. So we will wait till Saturday and Stanford plays Hawaii. By Sunday morning, we will probably have this game bet. Um, so just with Mensah, he's such a good quarterback, so much better than Carson Beck. It's ridiculous. So it's did they replace Ruben Bain? Now I know they had defense from last year that didn't all graduate, so that'll be the key. But now that they're opening up the strings, we're able to better analyze. Wow, they got Ruben Bain. They know what they're doing. So we'll see. But again, you got to be careful. USC, Fresno State, same thing. USC plays the first week. So we got to see what they look like. We got to see if they dominate San Jose State or they play a close game. Fresno State's much better than San Jose State. USC 23.5, 51.5. I think this will be a very good game. But I think USC, I like Maivia, so I think they'll be pretty good this year. It's all up to their defense. Connecticut Lafayette. Now, this is not a betting game, but I want to watch it because Connecticut's got a new quarterback, and I want to see how this guy does, even though it's Lafayette, just to get a bearing on can he complete a pass? If he's pretty good, then we'll know kind of how to bet Connecticut this year. So even though it's Lafayette, it's really to see the quarterback because these aren't preseason; these are real games. So they're going to play their players. James Madison Liberty, a great game. James Madison 6.5, 52.5. James Madison. They got a good coach. Even though their coach went to UCLA, they brought in a good coach. And Liberty's a pretty good team. Liberty, Madison 6.5, 52.5. James is an A team, 15 defense, new quarterback. Liberty, a B team, 26 defense. So small edge to James Madison. They're at home. New coach, new quarterback. Don't get ahead of yourself. This isn't last year's James Madison team, so you got to be careful. I think this is where the Toledo coach went. Big Nebraska gets Ohio from Euro trip. Scotty, Nebraska 23.5, 47.5. Nebraska an E team, 23 defense. Ohio is a B team with the 23 defense, which simply means Ohio scored a little bit more than Nebraska. And the Nebraska does have a new transfer quarterback. Ohio's got a new one. So you really can't bet this game because you don't really know who's Ohio's quarterback and who's Nebraska's quarterback. Are they any good in that? So, again, it's the pitcher. He's making his first start of the season. I have no idea. I was watching the game on Saturday or Sunday, and it was, I think, the Cardinals. This was the number one pitching prospect, and he pitched through. He didn't look great. He was okay. But, again, it was his first major league pitching. So they beat him up pretty good. But you still don't know until you got some data on him. Houston, Oregon State. Houston 20.5, 50.5. Oregon State was a Z team last year. New transfer quarterback. I think it's Malik Murphy, who was at Texas. He sucked. Then he went to Duke, and he was pretty good. And I think he played somewhere last year against Houston. Their quarterback's returning. They have a good coach, 21 defense. They're laying 20 and 51. So this will be an interesting game to see how bad or good Oregon State is. Alabama, East Carolina. We all know Alabama, but we don't know who the quarterback is. He's been there. This is a third string quarterback. He's finally getting a chance. Oh no, they took the freshman who's a 5-star, who's a real. He's more of a let's call him like a Jalen Hurts, good runner, terrible passer. So I'm not sold that he is a quarterback, but he's one of these dual action, meaning he runs a lot uh, against East Carolina. So this is, watch and learn. Ella fucking Bama. I would not lay 28, although they probably were. East Carolina's not a bad team. They're in North Carolina, by the way. But again, we got a freshman 5-star because he's fast quarterback. Well, East Carolina's seen option quarterbacks before, so I don't know. We'll see how good he is, how many picks he throws. I don't know. I'm not the Boar's a coach with the Penix, but he didn't do shit. Ty Simpson didn't do shit last year. He just threw another interception against Indiana. Indiana, North Texas, very interesting game. Indiana 40-55.5 total. North Texas, the coach is gone. The quarterback's gone. 24 players are gone. New coach. Indiana, superstar, they just got a much better quarterback than they had last year. Expect a big defense, expect a good running attack and good receivers and well coached. I like Indiana 40 much better than Oklahoma 40 or Ohio State 50. North Texas, they're gone. They're not they're not last year's team, so you really don't know what you're going to get from North Texas. The coach is more of a running coach. Well, they're not set up to run. They're set up to pass. It's a quick passing game. The linemen are made for passing, not for running. Games in Indiana, I don't know that Indiana wins 60-0, but I would imagine Indiana. The best thing you can hope for is a close first half where it's like 20-7, and then they'll kill them in the second half. If they get up 40-0, they might relax in the second half. So this is a whole new thing, seeing Indiana as 40-point favorites and how they're going to react. Ohio State would cover this, but Indiana, I'm not sure. North Texas is not that bad of a team. At least they had a decent defense, but when you lose your coach and your quarterback and 24 players, it can't be good. Although the new coach is not terrible, but still, this is not a Z team, North Texas, to be laying 40 points to. Watch and learn. West Virginia plays Coastal Carolina. Where's that game? Hello. Where is it? I know I wrote it down. This is wild. I can't find the game on my sheet. Oh, there it is. I have it at the top. West Virginia, 21.5, 56.5. Coast Carolina, an E team, 34 defense, new quarterback. West Virginia, an over team, 31 defense, and a new transfer quarterback. And Rich Rodriguez, again, is the coach at West Virginia. He's terrible. I don't know what he's doing there. So you're looking at two terrible defenses. Did they get better? Probably not, because Rodriguez doesn't coach defense. If you're at Michigan and you can't have a good defense, you're a shitty coach. So 58, 56 the total. We got new quarterbacks. This is a watch game. Pitt hosts Miami of Ohio. Pitt's 16-50. Miami, Ohio is an under team with a 22 defense, a new quarterback. Pitt's a B team with a 25 and a returning. So because Miami is a new quarterback, look for them to run a lot and play defense. Pitt with a decent quarterback. You don't know. This game could be close, could be low scoring. We'll see what Pitt looks like. Again, this is a game you really can't get excited. You really can't bet it. You really shouldn't bet it. Ohio State, Ball State. Again, Ohio State 50 and 57. Ball State is a W team with a 30 defense. We know all about Ohio State, and we know they got Texas the next week. So be careful. They will pull their players. They want nobody to get hurt for the Texas game so they can destroy Arch Manning. The defense, you got new players, so they'll work them in against the Ball State team. Look for Ohio State to play a good first half, and we'll see what they do in the fourth quarter with the third stringers. Again, they're very conscious of covering the spread, so be careful there. Kent goes against South Carolina. South Carolina 36-53. Kent is a W team with a 33 defense. Look for South Carolina to be much more explosive this year. They brought in Briles' son from Baylor or whatever. Very good, very explosive teams with Briles as the coach. So we'll see how good the son is. But I'm expecting South Carolina to be like Tennessee and just put up a lot of points. And we'll see. Lenora Sellers is a good running quarterback. He's decent throwing, but with Briles' offense, he might be a better quarterback. So we'll see there. Keep your eye on Iowa State. I think they're going to be a Z team. A lot of players went to Penn State with the coach and the quarterback, and the replacement's a coach from Washington State who sucks. So I think they'll be our bitch. Iowa State. We'll be betting heavily against them. I love Iowa State. I've been betting them for years, cleaning up when they're a live dog to Oklahoma and Texas, and they beat them. But in this case, we'll be jumping on Penn State like that. Georgia's got Tennessee State. Are we going to learn anything from that? Absolutely not. They're 47.5, 57. I'd rather bet Georgia and lay 47.5 than Oklahoma laying 40. They're playing Tarleton State. What is the point of that game? I don't understand. Duke against Tulane. Duke is 9.5, 51. Tulane, we don't know. The coach is gone. The Duke, good coach. The quarterback's gone. They're an over team with the 28 defense. So they've been getting more and more explosive. Duke. Again, they lost the Tulane quarterback. He was great. And then he went to Duke, and now he's at Miami. So he's a good quarterback. But live and learn. Oregon, Boise, I went through. We're going to go over the 51.5. And I gave you the reasons. Basically, Boise, both quarterbacks are back. They can score. They play big games. They do well. They score. Oregon, I'm not sold on their quarterback. More. We'll see. All I know is he threw 5 interceptions against Indiana, and that abortion with a pick 6 on the first play. So I'm not buying that Moore's good. I'm not buying he should be the first pick in the draft. I don't even know I'd draft the guy. So I think you'll get points in this game. Obviously, I gave you the over. So that's your free pick. Boise with the 23 defense, Oregon with the 14. But it's kind of misleading. Like I said, Indiana put up 50 on them, mostly on picks and stuff. So we'll see. But I would think this to be 38-10 gives you a winner, right? We need 46. So that's what I'm banking on is Oregon scoring in the 30s and Boise in the upper teens, if not 20. But I'm not going to lay 18 with Oregon, and I'm not taking 30 with Boise. The best play here is the over, I believe, and that's the free play. Texas State, Texas 30, Texas State. Texas State's an over team with a 31 defense. So Arch Manning will look pretty good in that. This is like the Tigers playing a 5.0 pitcher, and they start hitting, and everybody, oh, look at the hitting. Oh, look how good the hitting is. And it's a bunch of bullshit. They're not when they play a good pitcher, they don't hit. Well, Texas Tech's playing a good pitcher, they're not going to hit. I don't know what to do with this game. Texas should score early and often, and then everybody can say how good Eric Manning is until he plays Ohio State and he gets shut out. Then I guess he's not very good. Texas State's very explosive team, but I don't know. It's usually the defensive line that controls the game in these games where you think, oh, Texas State will score, and then they lose 45-0 because they can't score because the defensive line's blitzing and they can't handle it. So all their skill players don't have time to get open and make catches. So look for Texas, but they do have Ohio State the week after, and it's very important in college to look week after, week before. And then the week after the Ohio State Texas game, whoever wins is going to be flat. The loser will be pissed for losing. So you got to be careful with that. So again, Texas fourth quarter won't have anybody in there unless it's a very close game. Then they're in big trouble against Ohio State. So we will see. But Texas State could give them a little bit of problems. Maybe get an over, but I don't know. It's Texas defense will just bottle up Texas State. I don't think those. I have 42 to 10 or something. So it's going to be close to the total, but no, thank you. Let's see. Penn State and Marshall. In this game, Marshall is an over team with a 30 defense with their quarterback back. Penn State, I have as a B team. They're Iowa State now, right? So Iowa State, good quarterback, Rocco Beck, he's there. Penn State, good defense from Iowa State, good coach, much better coach. So look for Penn State to be a much better team. They'll play with Ohio State, and if they play Indiana or Oregon, they will be able to upset them. Much better than James Franklin, who's at Virginia Tech now. But we don't know. It's a big number, and the total of 54. Iowa State normally played under games because they would run the ball and play to win and just run it down your throat and pay this really suffocating defense. So I'm not sure Marshall's going to do a lot here. I look for Penn State by right around maybe 14 to 24. It could be, but I think Marshall will give them a game. So, but keep your eye on Penn State. We'll be betting them a lot because I love the Iowa State coach. Baylor and Auburn. This is a tricky one. Auburn has added a good quarterback, and Baylor added the guy from Florida, DJ whatever, Langway, and he sucked at Florida, but he's one of these running dual quarterbacks who can run and can't throw. And you get him on Baylor, and Baylor will figure out a way to use him much better than Florida could. So you got to be careful here. This game is 7-59. I'm sure they'll figure out a way for Langway. Maybe this goes over. Auburn usually has a pretty good defense. Baylor never has a defense. So this could be an over, but it's a little early because we don't know how bad Langway is at Baylor. And Auburn got a decent quarterback and a different coach. And we'll see how good their defense is. But this is a very tough game. I think Auburn wins the game at home, but I think that would be the best way to play it, not total-wise. Cincinnati and BC. BC's terrible. Cincinnati, we don't know. They got a new quarterback. 7.5, 52. I have no idea. Because Cincinnati, I don't know how good they are, and Boston College is terrible. So we'll see. Tulsa and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State 14-61. I think that line's a little low. This was 14. No, it's still 14. 60.5. Oklahoma State, I've changed them into an over team because that's what North Texas was. North Texas had a decent defense. Oak State has no defense, so I don't think Oak State's going to find a defense, but they're going to have a superstar quarterback in Messmeyer, and a good coach who runs a good offense. So look for Oklahoma State to score a lot. Tulsa, I'm not sure. They were a W team last year with a 29 defense. The quarterback's back. I'm not sure how good he is, but I'm not sure Oklahoma State's defense is all that to shut them out. So I think the spread's low, but the game's in Tulsa. So somewhat of a rivalry, Oklahoma State and Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the total is 60. But look for Oklahoma State to be a very explosive team. So when they play Baylor and TCU, we'll be jumping on the overs there. Iowa, Northern Illinois, Iowa 31.5 and 46. Northern Illinois a 24 defense. They're an under team. Iowa's a B team, but they have new quarterbacks this year. And we know Iowa, you know what you're getting defensively. They were a 15 last year, and you're going to get a 15 this year. That's what I mean. You have the coach. He's there. You got a new quarterback. He's going to run the ball and play defense. And it's Army, Navy all over again. And Northern Illinois, normally a defensive team gets a new coach. I don't know if he's a defensive coordinator or anything like that. But they both have new quarterbacks, which would lead you to believe it'll be more conservative. You don't want to with the new quarterback. So we will see what you do with that. I'm looking for my phone; it's in my hand. So I think we'll see Iowa being a under team like they've been the last 30 years with this coach. Good defense. You don't want to play them at home. Very tough to win at home. Colorado State, Wyoming, who cares? Colorado State 3.5, 47.5. Wyoming, always an under team. Colorado State, what do I got? Colorado State at a W team with a 30 defense. So will this year? That's, they could be an A team this year. That's why you watch. You watch to see what they are this year. What is their grade? And it changes. And it's not just the points, it's the coach, it's the quarterback, and do they have a great defense? I did that a couple of years ago, Washington State, over team, good quarterback. And all of a sudden they had this killer defense. I'm betting Washington State under every week. It's a joke because their defense was killer. And I saw it in the first week they played Idaho or one of these Division II explosive teams, and they shut them out. I said, wow, and I bet them under a lot, and they won a lot. So you just don't know. You know Wyoming will be an under, but you don't know what Colorado State is. Let's go to I hate when they put in these Division II games. Like, who gives a fuck? Texas A&M plays Missouri State, who was Division II. Last year was Division I. A&M 40 and 52.5. Missouri State was an E team in the Conference USA. A 28 defense. They get a new quarterback. A&M, we know how Marcel Reed is with the 22 defense. So we got to see what to do with them. They're laying for the Missouri State. I don't know. A&M should come on. They're pretty pissed about screwing last year. They got killed by Texas, then lost to Miami, and Reed looked like shit. So if Reed wants to get drafted, he better be a whole lot better. He was good against Notre Dame and then played a real team, and then he got killed. And that's the thing with Texas and Texas A&M. It was 27. I thought it'd be an over, and Reed didn't score against Texas. So that's my concern when I see Texas State here about going over, because I'm going, well, they shut out A&M. I doubt Texas State's going to do a lot on them. All right. Let's see. Texas Tech plays ACU, whoever the fuck that is. The Atlantic Coast Conference, I don't know. So The only reason we're looking at that is to see if ACU scores on Texas Tech. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's Division II team. Troy goes against Sam Houston. Sam Houston's a Z team, a terrible team. Troy's 16.5, 53.5, but I don't know who Troy is. I've got Troy as an E team with a 25 defense. We just don't know. Do they have both quarterbacks are back for Sam Houston and Troy? Like that matters. So we'll keep an eye. You can't bet that game. It's crazy. Memphis goes against Arkansas State. We got to watch Memphis against, what did they play? Hawaii. They play Vegas, so we can't. Let's see what they do against Vegas and Arkansas State. Virginia Tech, VMI. This is James Franklin at Virginia Tech. We'll see what they look like. Michigan Western, Michigan 28-48. Okay. Western's an under team last year with an 18 defense. Michigan was a B team with an 18 defense. So this should be a pretty low scoring game, pretty good defenses. Although Western's going to struggle a little more defense. Michigan's got the Utah coach. Look for him to get rid of Underwear and bring in a real quarterback instead of Pinocchio. I think Michigan's defense will be dominating. I think they can play with Ohio State and Indiana now, but they need a quarterback, and I think they'll go to Carr, not Underwear, who good against high school guys, but this ain't high school. And Carr, you can see his brother at Notre Dame, and you know how good he is. I'm sure this is Lloyd Carr's grandson. I'm sure he knows how to quarterback. So look for Michigan to go to Carr, and they'll be a very good team. But their defense right now will carry them. And Western, decent offense, but they had a good defense last year, but they lost a lot of talent. So I don't know what we get. But they seem to have a defensive coach. Old Mississippi State plays Lou Monroe. Lou Monroe is Z team. Old Mississippi State has a new quarterback who's supposed to be another one of these dual threat quarterbacks, running a lot and everything. Supposed to be good. 28.5, 56. So we'll see what we do with this game. Again, Lou Monroe is a Z team. Clemson, LSU, good game. We got LSU 10.5, 51. Bobby, LSU, Bobby. Clemson, they stink. Klunek sucked, and now they got a new quarterback. His backup. I don't know how good their defense is. I think LSU rips them apart with the quarterback from Arizona State, and we know the coach is a good offensive coach. So I think LSU scores a lot this year. I think there'll be a higher scoring team like Ole Miss. Question is, will be their defense. And Clemson, I think, they haven't been good for years. So I don't know. I think it's LSU at home on a Saturday night. I wouldn't bet Clemson here. I don't know if you want to lay 10.5, 4.5 or not, but because do you need more time for Lane Kiffin to get into the team? I mean, they might not be week 1, but by week 7 or 8, they got to play Alabama. So then we'll know what to do with them better. But this is a toughie. Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic is a over team with the 36 defense. Florida's got a new coach. They got a new quarterback. So again, there's a lot of unknowns here. Florida 27, 59.5. Florida Atlantic this game might go over. I don't know if Florida will dominate them 52-0, like we're going to see, in Indiana and Ohio State, Oklahoma, those games. I don't think this is that type of game. I think Florida Atlantic can make points against Florida. Lou Lafayette's got LAM, whoever LAM is. Jack Lambert. hate when I do that. I hit my thumb and then it scrolls at like 10 inches. Where am I at? All right, BYU. New Mexico against Central Michigan. New Mexico is a very good team. 11.5, 47.5. Mexico, a B team, 22 defense. Central, a under team, 22 defense. Central's got a new quarterback. New Mexico's returner. They have a good coach, Eck. I remember his first game against Michigan was 34-17. They played very well. Very good coach. Games in New Mexico, 11.5, 47.5. Central, under team with a 22 defense. So they're not going to score a lot. I think New Mexico wins. It's just by how many. Hawaii against Vegas again. Both teams play week 1, so we won't know. Here we got Vegas 3 and 58.5 to Hawaii. Hawaii's a good team. Vegas, Dan Mullen, so you're going to get points. Nevada, Western Kentucky, 2.5, 52.5. Nevada's a Z team. Western Kentucky's not that great this year. At least at this point, maybe they will be, but again, they're only 2.5 at Nevada, a Z team. UCLA, Cal, UCLA with the new coach has gone favored. They're now 1.5, 53.5 over Cal. I don't like Cal's quarterback. He seems to run a lot. UCLA, they still have the dodgeball player. He's a terrible quarterback. So let's see if Chesney, the James Madison coach, switches up and brings in his own quarterback. I think the UCLA defense will be much better. I think they'll be probably at least a B team this year, and then he's a quarterback away from really going. Cal with the 53.5, 54, I don't know. Again, there's so much we don't know because of the new James Madison coach. Usually pretty good defense. Cal scores. I liked UCLA as the dog at first, but now as the favorite, I don't know. Maybe I like Cal. It's a rivalry game. Both California schools from the Pac-10. So it was always UCLA and Cal, USC and Cal and Stanford. So look for a rivalry here. I don't know. Cal is a home dog. It's very tempting here. And then we get to the 6th, the Sunday in Washington State. Washington State is supposed to have a little better defense. Washington's got the good quarterback, the good coach. Washington 22 and 50 to Washington State. It is a rivalry game. It is at Washington. It's probably a Washington play if I had to play it. But again, we want to see Washington State. Do they have a new coach? They got a new quarterback, so we'll see. All right, we've got Wisconsin, Notre Dame, also on this Sunday. Or maybe this is the Monday. No, the 7th is Labor Day, so this is Sunday. Notre Dame 20.5, 47.5 to Wisconsin. Wisconsin, very weak team, an under team, 22. They got a new transfer quarterback. Notre Dame, an A team with the 17 defense. That was against a weak schedule. Against A&M and against Miami, it was 28-27. And against A&M was 44-41. Then it was Stanford and Syracuse and Army, Navy and the Air Force. And the Marines were out there, the Coast Guard, the Boy Scouts. So, again, it's which Notre Dame team are you looking at? So against the good teams, against Texas A&M, Miami, they were not. Not only did they lose, their defense did not play well. So we don't know what we got with Notre Dame. This is the problem with the weak schedule. 20 and a half, 47 and a half. Notre Dame, I don't know that they're a 17 defense. Wisconsin's pretty bad. A new transfer quarterback. The coach stinks. The defense hasn't been all that, although it was a 22 last year, and that's not good. So this is a tough game. Notre Dame laying 20. Wisconsin might just come out fired up. I know Jesus will be there, and all the Cardinals and all the holy men, and Christ will be there. But it's still we got to see. And then our last game is Ole Miss 6.5, 55 to Louisville. Louisville with the new quarterback. The Ohio State third stringer is the new Louisville quarterback, and they're hoping he's as good as Joe Burrow. Ole Miss an A team, but they got their coordinator as coach. 55. I think later in the year, the 55 would be good. I don't know that Louisville's quarterback's going to be ready. Ole Miss will score a lot. So this is your last game. This is your Sunday night game. And then Monday is there. I'm surprised there's no Labor Day game. And that be it. So, baseball, I have given you Boston, Philadelphia under 7.5, and the 49ers over 7.5, all 3-unit plays. All the others are 2-unit plays. Today is Wednesday. I am off to the lake because I cannot go to the pool. A little frustrating because I like to keep the workout. It keeps the mind active, keeps me relatively in good shape. So I will go walking at the lake today, and we'll see. I'm going to have lunch right now. A salad and some grilled and some stir-fried chicken that I stir-fried them. I took 3 big breasts, cut them up, and put them on the frying pan. But what's good about it is it's good for 3 or 4 days. And that be it. So that's college football. Again, $50. You get my plays for this week and the following, which normally would be, if you just bought college, 75 this week, 75 next. There is a lock already this weekend, and then I'm sure I'll probably have a lock the following weekend. Once I see the teams, I should be able to establish locks, but I got to wait. The Hawaii game, does the quarterback get hurt? I can't play him, but if he's looks good and then they win, I might take Hawaii the next week, and it could lock. Or maybe you lock Indiana, or maybe So there's all these variables that you got to wait to see what happens in week 1 with these teams that play both weeks, and it gives me a little more time to figure out the second week. Although I played 2 or 3 second week games already. We will see. I have played Oregon and Boise over. That's your free play. I've already played that one. And that's it. And football's back. Let's go make some money. Let's go buy some gold or silver. As far as all the headlines, this war with Iran, we've lost. The war with Russia, we've lost. It's us fighting Russia. It's not the Ukraine. I love these proxy wars. Oh, will you fight our war for it? Oh, thank you. That's like getting a bunch of football players to play Michigan and Ohio State, and you're hiring players to play. Unbelievable. Because the wars don't mean anything. They're just for money. They're just so you buy weapons from us. So let's have these wars because we're broke, and we think that if we sell weapons, we'll get out of the debt, which you're not going to get out of. You can't sell $40 trillion in weapons, and all that money would go to pay the debt off anyway. It goes to Boeing and Northrop and these other countries and these other companies. And you get a little bit if you get taxes at all on them. And then the defense contractors kick you back the money, but that just goes to the government. It doesn't go for the debt. We're fucked. We're 40 trillion plus 60 trillion in Social Security, government paying the government employees and the government pensions and the military pensions and stuff like that, and the debt. We've got, I think, $8 to $10 trillion in treasuries coming due, which we're going to have to pay off. And how are we going to do that? Or I think we'll renew them, which means we'll have to buy our own treasuries because nobody wants it. Nobody wants US dollars. It is worthless. As I said, if nobody wants this card, it's worthless. It's there's got to be a buyer. If there's no buyer, this has no value. If there's no buyer, this is worthless. And guess what? There's no buyers. We are strictly using this dollar to go to Kroger's and buy food and go to barbecue and buy meals. That's what we're doing. That is the point of our money is just internal to the US, and we use it as prices go up everywhere because the dollar's not worth anything. I keep watching these videos on these financial companies buying like Caesars and buying these restaurants, and then they buy all the land and they charge rent, and they basically bankrupt all these businesses, restaurants, casinos, whatever else they touch turns to shit. Like they bought Tenneco, and then they buy the assets and then they rent it back to them, and it ends up being a nightmare. And the company can't afford it, and the companies go broke. And I assume so do the investment companies, because they're not trying to make, they're not buying it with terms of buying the company. It's like other people's money with Danny DeVito, where he would buy a company to gut it because the assets were worth more than the stock value. So if the assets are worth 50 and the stock's selling at 20, I'll buy the company to sell the assets. Meanwhile, all the people are let go and the company goes out of business. And that's what you have. They're buying all these restaurants, and they're charging them rent. That's why Subway went bankrupt. They couldn't afford the rent that these guys. So they're not smart enough to let the businesses keep paying them. That's why Vegas is there. Now I'm confused. Anybody been to Vegas lately? Real D, you go. Um, I'm talking to my neighbor, and she says she was in Vegas for somebody's bachelor party or something a week or two ago. And she was there on the weekend, and it was crowded. And I was shocked. And this was in August. And I'm thinking, why is Vegas crowded on at all? I thought it was empty. And she said, no, it was crowded. Now, I believe she was on the strip. What's going on? Because I'm hearing it's bankrupt. I'm hearing there's no customers. Nobody wants to pay the high resort fees or anything else. So I will look into that. But I have no desire Labor Day, which I usually go to Vegas to start football and play some poker and watch the football and try to sell some Teaser King. I love it when a guy's at the table and he just gives me his chips. Here's $100. Give me your football picks. And that was a great feeling. But I don't know. I have no plans to go to Vegas and overpay for everything. So I can't imagine. They were crowded on a weekend. It wasn't a football weekend. So what's going on? But I don't know. I'll check into that, because again, the only thing I can think of is because it was August, it's very hot there, that maybe they discounted everything and they took off the resort fee and said it's $29 to go. And then people would go. That would be the only thing I can think of, because with these resort fees, the high drink prices, the parking, uh, the high food prices, there's nobody going. And I have no incentive to go. So we will see. I will check that out for you guys. Um, there's a couple of poker hands, and then we'll go, that I want to talk about. It's so nice talking football now. A real conversation. Oh, so I'm going to show you, I think, two poker hands. Rookie benched mid-game for not running out a hit. Is this what they're teaching him in the minors? That's crazy. All right, so we're going to look at, did he misplay pocket aces? There's so many people that should not be playing poker. They have no clue what the fuck they're doing. So this is a hand where, again,
Here we go, Farbob. Let's go.
he's fucking.
And start opening up the range a little bit.
So 8-6 bets 425.
Once again has picked up aces.
And aces
He's in a good
call.
setup now. He's heads up. He's got position, and his opponent is basically drawing dead on this flop. Not true. He also has the backdoor straight draw, so not quite dead. He picks up a gut shot, so if Farbod hits a 9 on the river, he will win the hand. Sergey continues setting the trap by checking the flop. Looks like Farbod is going to start betting.
So the 8-6 bets.
Dividends for Sergey here.
And the aces sits there and checks.
I think he's certainly just going to call this turn. That is not a 9. That is a jack.
So he check calls.
Perhaps thinking about bluffing again. He is certainly not going to win by checking. But he would have to bet very large to get Sergey to consider folding aces.
He does do that.
1.4. That is on the bigger side.
So it's an obvious bluff.
And
He bets
1.4. He is losing to a couple hands. He's losing to 8-9. He's losing to Queen 9. Ace Queen, but he does have 2 aces in his hand, and of course any king. But if you set the trap this long, and this is sort of why if we go back to pre-flop, I think you have to 3-bet this hand pre-flop, because at a final table, even if you're trapping with this, you intend on, reaching showdown, but something is going to come out by the river that's going to make it kind of uncomfortable for you a lot of the time. Farbod's actually going to pull this off.
Wow.
Okay, so what is do you have any strategy, or are you just an idiot? You get aces. You always should raise pre-flop just to get the junk out, because the junk just beat you and didn't catch a hand because you're an idiot. Then you check the flop. What is your strategy? And then the guy bets and you call. Okay, so you're slow playing, but you only have aces. It's not a good hand. Then the turn comes, and what did you do? You checked again. He bet, you called. What are you doing? Do you have any idea how to play poker? Then the river comes. It's $1.4 million. So we went from 50,000 to $1.4 million. Does he want you to call? Let's just use logic here. He bets $1.4 million. What is he saying? I want you to fold. If he had the straight, which you would have known had you bet the flop, had you raised on the flop, he has to go out. He doesn't catch anything. Had you raised on the turn, he would have had to fold because he doesn't have the 8, 9, 10 jack. So he's playing for an inside straight for the 9, which didn't come, but he bets $1.4 million. What the fuck are you thinking? So the 1,000,004 is obviously a bluff. It's obviously to get you to fold. Let's say he hit the straight or he hit trip kings, which he would have bet on the turn if he had trip kings, because he would be afraid you had the straight draw. So he doesn't have trip kings. If he hits the straight, so if he has 9 queen or whatever, he's not betting 1,000,004. He's betting 400,000. He wants you to call. The 1,000,004 is, I want you to fold, and he doesn't even understand what he's playing. He's a terrible player. Okay, I'm going to slow play my aces, but then as soon as you make a big bet, I'm going to fold. Yeah, there's a grocery store down that needs morons to load the shelves with Pepsi and 7-Up. What are you thinking? Tell me one thought process. I'm checking, I'm slow playing, and then I fold. Oh my God. There's no, what is the point of slow playing? So if he's going to make a big bet on the river and you're going to fold, there is no point in slow playing. You're just an idiot. You're scared of the big thing. And that's really what the psychology of poker is. If I make a big bet, you're scared of losing a lot. You cannot identify why I'm making the big bet, but you don't want to lose a lot. So you're going to fold because he could have 4 kings on that hand and I could lose. But you never bet to see if he had anything. You're just checking and he bets and you call. What the fuck are you doing? Maybe pre-flop, but once that flop comes, now I will explain what I did when I had pocket aces, and the lady, I assume, had kings or queens, comes out and bets $40, and we're $1.02, bets $40. I call. Am I slow playing? Not really. I want to get more people in, and I get 10 and 10. I got with 10 and 6 calls because of the pot odds. Flop comes ace 10 6. Kings makes a bet. I call because, again, now I got a set of aces, not a pair of aces. And then 10 6 hits 2 pair, 10s and 6s. But I have the set of aces. Kings folds to the all in, and I go all in with my. I think he's all in, so I call. And I flip it over, and I got trip aces, and he can't win because if he catches the 10 or the 6 for the full house, since the 10 and 6 are on the board, I then have aces full of 10s or aces full of 6, and the guy realizes he can't win. Comes over and shakes my hand. That's how you slow play, but it's got to be a set of aces. It cannot be a pair of aces, because if I don't get that third ace on the flop and he goes all in with 10s and 6s, can I even call? But I really wasn't slow playing. I was reacting to the lady with kings who made the big bet. She did get away from her kings when he went all in, and then I call because now I got a set. I got a set of aces. That's how you play the game. You can slow play that. You can't slow play one pair. I'm sorry, you can't do it. It's just stupid. You have nothing. You've got to be aggressive with the pair of aces. You got to get the riff-raff out. Now, I would not have won as much as if I would have bet. She bet the kings, and I came over and raised on the aces. 10-6 is gone, and then king might go away too, or maybe she's there, but I'm not going to win as much as the 10-6 going all in, and I can't lose. So that's how you play. But if you have aces, it's not that big of a hand. And you've got to say to yourself, this is the critical part of poker. Why the big bet? Why the 1,000,004 at the river? Poker's about getting me to call, right? It's about me with the set of aces wanting action. I want you to bet so I can call you. It's not about me slow playing, and then the guy makes a big bet, and I don't know where I'm at. I've done that before with 2 pair. I flop 2 pair and I check, and then somebody makes a big bet, and I don't know where I'm at. I don't know if I can call it or not. What do you have? And see, that's the point. by the slow play, you don't know what the person has. Had you bet the flop and or the turn, had you raised on it, you get him to fold because he has nothing, and he doesn't really have. All he's got's an inside straight possibility with a 9, and on the flop he's got nothing. And if he had trip kings, he'd be checking. So you take trip kings out of the equation, and then betting on either the flop or the turn with a $200,000 raise, he doesn't have anything, and you're betting a lot, so he's going to fold. And but the slow play, it's really a stupid play. I mean, I'm yet to see anybody actually do something with the slow play, because as soon as there's that big bet, the aces fold. How many times have I showed you where aces fold to the big bet? So what are you slow playing? You don't even know. You have no idea where you're at. Gentry injury is only a sprain. Well, I don't know. It's more than a sprain. Could be a high ankle sprain, but it's a big injury. But like you just said, players have to practice. Big water problem in Vegas now. Lake Mead is drying up. So what was all the people doing there a couple of weeks ago? If you own property in Vegas, I would sell now before the market crashes. So what was all the people doing in Vegas? So this girl goes for a wedding or a bachelor party, and she says it was really crowded. Well, maybe she was downtown. Maybe she doesn't understand what crowded means. But she said, I was there when it was crowded. And I'm thinking, nobody's going to Vegas in August unless they've really reduced the rates and people are going. But that's it. So, yeah, I don't own property there. I thought about it. We almost bought a house there near Lake Las Vegas or near Green Mountain. We like both places, but we ended up not doing that. All right, now we're going to come to a different hand and a different strategy where the guy plays it properly. It's not a slow playing aces to a bluff.
Fold ace then?
No, I'm saying I promise I didn't fold ace then.
Sorry, we can't really see the cards there.
Oh, here we go. Santosh comes alive.
Hell, they all have big hands.
Andrew going nowhere with the Jack-10 suited. This could be a big pot.
The SS Savannah has set sail.
Oh my goodness.
The ace-9-4.
All right, we can't see
goodness.
this.
This is
Oh, wait. Here we go.
really bad for Santosh on the club.
All right, let me start it over.
I'm saying I promise I didn't fold ace then.
All right, ace, queen, king, 3, 10, jack.
Oh, here we go. Santosh comes alive.
Hell, they all have big hands.
Andrew going nowhere with the Jack-10 suited. This could be a big pot.
The SS Savannah has set sail.
Oh my goodness.
The ace-9-4.
Oh goodness. This is really bad for Santosh on the club.
Dude, the club hasn't even come yet. Chill, okay?
I'm already worried for
Chill.
our guy.
It's going to get Queen of Diamonds turn. Queen of Clubs river.
See, if I had ace, queen, and it came ace, 9, 4, I'm making a much bigger, I'm making $100,000 bet because 2 clubs, the best you can do is 4 clubs. I don't want you in to catch the flush, so you're going to pay. This is where it's protection. I have the ace. I have the best hand, ace, queen, and you're probably on a flush draw. So I want to make it a big bet so you don't call. Here's where I want to bet the bet to get you out, but to get you out to protect my aces and so you don't draw the flush.
Oof. Now we're talking, whoa, this is getting raised. Is that 50, 50 straight?
Yeah.
Oh, 55 all day.
Oh, Matt Berkey.
Oh, yeah.
Coming in for OT.
Look at that.
2 in the middle. Oh, my word.
Oh, look at this turn. What is going on?
Yeah. I'm telling them I'm shoving dart because I need to come over here. Folds around with a small blind.
So he's got a straight and a flush, 8, 9, 10 jack, 4 clubs against a pair of aces.
20.
Okay.
And he's like, how bad do you want to play? I'm like, really want to go for
Andrew and Santos are both just like,
I don't
cool
know.
story, Berkey.
Like, I don't have nothing, but like, I did.
Oh, my God.
Finally, he pulls it all off.
So
Favorite.
I'm sorry, did aces check that? So aces allow him to catch? Like, you've got to bet a lot on that turn with aces so he doesn't catch his flush that you think he's catching. That was
Full draw.
just terrible.
This is my nightmare.
Now he's got a straight. Aces are aces, which are worthless.
Well, I'm sure the wins. Thanks.
All
for
you
your
can eat.
contribution.
There it
Going
is.
huge, yeah.
Almost didn't overlay.
Now look at the bet. He didn't go
That's a
all
big
in.
bet, though.
He didn't bet a
He
million.
used to be right a lot.
He bet 175 because he wants the
Not that
call.
much, but
That's my point. That's my point in a nutshell. He doesn't make it a million to bluff him out. What does he do? He's got the straight. He's got the nuts. He bets 175 because he wants the call, because that's what poker's about. To get the guy to give him the 175, I can't make $1 million bet. He's going to fold. That's why when you see the $1 million bet on the river, it's a bluff, because because you want the call, because that's what the game's about. I'd rather bet 175 and get you to call me than bet $1 million and get you to fold. I don't want you to fold. And that's my whole point. As we're looking at all these bluffs on the river and you got aces and you fold them, there's no way you make the big bet if you have a hand, because you want to get called. And that's what this guy's doing. 175, he wants to get called.
Even like 8-7 of clubs gets there. 6-5 of clubs gets there.
yeah.
Nice fold.
Wow,
shot.
let's go.
Let's go, Santos.
So Santos should have bet the turn, a big bet on the turn. Maybe the guy folds because it's going to cost him to get the 5th club, or the straight comes out of nowhere. But you've got the best hand, and this is why I say aces aren't really a good hand. Look at all 5 cards come out, aces lose. Pocket aces, the guy had the best hand, never bet them. I don't know what is the thesis of slow playing your aces. I never slow play my aces. Tourism is still big on weekends from LA, but it's dead during the week. Maybe that's what it was, because she said it was crowded. But who's really coming from LA? You got to pay for the parking then. If I fly in, I'm not paying for parking. I'm taking a taxi to the hotel, and I'm just walking around, going between the Wynn, the Venetian, the Bellagio, and Caesars. And I'm just walking. I'm not taking a cab. And I'm eating at the CVS. You took away my New York deli at the Mirage, which I'm pissed about. And who wants to eat these expensive gourmet meals at the Venetian? But that's good if it's big on the weekends. I didn't think that was true either. But anyway, notice the point of this video is the 175 on the river, not the all-in big $5 million bet. That's when you know it's a bluff, is the big bet. Unless it's a blocking bluff, it'll be a blocking bet on the flop or the turn. All of a sudden there's 4 clubs. The aces should have bet 100 grand, and he got raised, and it confused him. And the guy did an if come, I'm raising you on the 4 clubs, which never got there. The guy was right to fold the aces on the river, but he was wrong. He he should have bet them on the turn. But the guy did get there, and the guy made a $175,000 bet. And so if you're playing and it's the river, look what happens. The bet, he didn't check raise him on the river, did he? He bet the river. That's my other clue. So Robo bets the river with his straight. And now it's up to you. That's my point. Why did he bet? Because he wants to get paid off. And if he checks, the guy might check back and he might not make any money. So again, if you have a hand on the river, you're betting it, you're not check raising. A check raise on the river is a bluff 100% of the time, because you can see what happens when you actually have a hand and your first act on the river, you're betting. And there was nothing the other guy could do. He couldn't really try to bluff him off because he did bet the river. He's got a hand, and his bet should have been on the turn, not a check. With 2 clubs out there and you're checking, you're letting him have a free card to catch his flush. What are you doing at a poker table? You go to Kroger's and pack. Profit, he caught the 7. He caught the straight, but look how he bet it, right? He didn't get, but if I'm the guy with aces, I'm putting him on a flush draw. So I'm making a big bet on the turn to get him to not see the river. That's all you can do. And then what are you going to hope that he doesn't catch the club and you win? I mean, if it's me playing the hand and I see that flop and I hit my ace queen, we almost have to see the hand again. I don't know what he did pre-flop. I don't remember. But that's the point. The point is, he bet the river. It wasn't a check call, and he bet to get a call. So he didn't put too much money in, so the guy would call him, right? So he's betting to get called. He's not check raising. All the points, all these little clues that I'm telling you, you don't need to look at the person. You look at the bet. There's the bet, 175 on the river. He's not bluffing. He's not check raising. He's got the hand. We've seen check raises are bluffs. He didn't bet $1 million. That would have been a bluff. But notice when he has the hand, he's not bluffing. He's making a bet, so you'll call, which is exactly what he did. The other guy was an idiot for on the turn checking instead of making. He should have made a $200,000, $300,000 bet on the river on the turn, because you're letting him get to his flush. Well, he didn't get to his flush now because he bet, he raised you on the flop, and then on the turn it was check. Well, if he's checking, he's trying to get the 5th club. That's when you got to get him. That's why you buy him out. Here's 200 grand, or you go all in. You want him to fold. You don't want him to see the river and catch the flush. In this case, he caught the straight. But he told you what he was doing by checking the turn. He's fishing for his flush. And by betting 175 on the river, he's telling you, I got a good hand. I want you to call. Unlike the other guy with the big bet on the river, which is a bluff to get you to fold the aces. So you can see the different dynamics. When the guy's got the hand, he's not going all in. When he makes the big bet, it's a bluff 99.5% of the time, especially on the river. On the river, the all-in is a bluff 100% of the time. On the flop or turn, it could be like this guy should have went all in with the aces with 2 clubs out there. He should have went all in on the flop. Doyle would have went all in on the flop because he's protecting you got to protect your. I know I'm winning right now. I've got aces with the queen. I know I'm winning, so I'm going to go all in to get you out because I don't want you to catch the 5th club. That's the strategy. So that's the only time the all in, but it's still to get you to fold. But that's the time the all in is there as an offensive weapon to get you to fold. Otherwise, it's a bluff on a river to get you to fold. Either way, the big bet is to get you to fold 100% of the time. There is no big bet to get you to call. If you have a very good hand, it's a small bet to get you to call to make more money off of you, because I know I got a big hand and you're calling it. And if you're on a draw, I want to get you out. So that's the thesis of poker is the bet size, but it's such an obvious all in is to get you to fold, or the other guy was 400,000 on the river to get the aces to fold, and the aces. What was your plan on the slow play, fella? Okay, you're slow playing, he bets. You're slow playing, he calls. You're slow playing, he makes a big bet. At what point are you thinking of making a bet or calling? Okay, you're slow playing. Are you going to call? That means you're going to call. No, I got aces and I'm just going to slow play and fold. Yeah, there's the door. There's the grocery store. Go start putting pop on the shelves because you shouldn't be at a poker table. You've got to take advantage of the aces when you get it and make a big bet with it. The flop, the pre-flop's got to be a bet, and the flop has to be a big bet. And then you see what the guy does. And again, a lot of it is they see how you play. So if somebody makes a big bet and I fold, and somebody makes a big bet and I fold, guess what? Everybody's going to make a big bet on me and fold. However, because I'm fifth dimensional, I do that on purpose to let everybody know, oh, I'll fold if you make a big bet. And that's when I have junk. But when I hit a big hand, I am not folding to your big bet. And therefore, that's what happened in Vegas on a Sunday. We're watching football and it ends. And I'm at Caesars. The first hand I sit down with, I have ace king and a king flops. So I got kings with an ace, and the guy's really aggressive. And I don't know what to do because it's the first hand. And so I call, and then he goes all in, and I fold because I don't know what he's got. And the next hand I have queens, and I bet, and the guy calls, and then I check, and the guy, I think, call. And then on the river, he makes a big bet thinking I'll go out, and I call him. I snap call because it was a big bet on the river. And I got queens, and he's got nothing. And he just looks at me, and good luck trying to figure me out, fella, because I know what you're looking for, and I'm not going to just be an idiot and do stupid things. So yeah, he caught the 7, but that wasn't a flush. But he shouldn't be. You want to get him out before that 7 comes. That's the point. And then the bet was to get you to call, not to get you to go out. So the purpose of the bet, if it's a big bet, is to get you to fold, and if it's a smaller bet, is to get you to call. That's all you need to know. You can play it. That's all you have to do to play poker. Oh, he made a big bet. He wants me to fold. And I've said that before. You must want me to fold. Just to see the expression of him sweating as I've figured out the plan here. All right. Time for lunch. Time for the lake. It's a nice sunny day out, and I don't have to be anywhere because normally I try to get to the pool about 3:30, but that's shot, so we won't do that. Anyway, good to hear from you guys today. And again, $50 buys you this week and next week's college football. Otherwise, $75 on the site. And I already have one lock going, and I'll probably have a lock the next week after I see the games and stuff like that. I'm curious how Memphis is and Vegas and Hawaii. Those are the money teams right now. So we will see. Anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. I'm going to check Vegas to see if they had discounts, but the middle of August, I don't know if I'm leaving LA to drive to Vegas to pay for the parking unless they found a place that doesn't charge for parking, or they were all staying downtown. But I think the girl said she was at the Venetian and the other, and it was really crowded. It was on the weekend, and I'm just shocked that anybody's going there. Because California is in big enough trouble by themselves. That's it. Austrian economics, just the money's worthless. Buy your gold and silver. Oh, let's check our gold price as we always like to check it. Your free picks again: Boston, Philadelphia under 7.5, and the 49ers over 7 are your free picks for today. And I forgot I put the gold on the bottom. I hate when my phone rings and it's in my pocket, and then all my settings get fucked up. So gold is 45.96, silver 68.10. This is probably due to the month end thing. So we'll keep an eye on it. And that's it. So have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. If you're buying, try to get in before the before the lines move. Not that many games today, but just be careful. I don't really want you to, if it's me and I'm in Vegas, I'm betting these games now because I know the line's going to move for Saturday for the games. So I want you to bet them now to get a better line to help you win. So keep that in mind. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Well, thank you, Prophet. It's all just a lot of I learned from football, but just understand human nature. You're greedy. You're trying to make more money, and there's nothing wrong with greedy. But everybody, how much should I bet to get paid off? I have a good hand. How much do I bet to get him to fold? Oh, I better put a big bet out there. And that's just logic of people. That's what I want to do is I want to make the big bet to get him to fold, but I want to make a small bet to get him to call me. It's as simple as that. But when you got aces, you can't slow play. Here comes a big bet. And now what do? You have no idea. You haven't bet and made him call, so you don't really know what he has. You could have got him out if you bet on the flop. What are you slow playing? You're checking. Okay, he checks back. Okay, how much are you going to win? Nothing, because you're slow playing and he's checking you back. You don't win anything. Oh, okay, I'm going to bet 50,000 on the river, but you didn't. You slow played that. You checked that. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Gold will hit 10,000. Don't worry about it.